Welcome to MetroCast Channel 10. I'm Dr. Bob Schaller, your host of the Pulse. We have a very, very special show this morning, today, which I'll call Team MetroCast Channel 10. And I have colleagues here, Dawn Campbell with Be Your Best and James Lepore with The Buzz. And you typically see them in my position with their guests. Now we've reversed roles. I have them as guests, but basically so that you get to know them better. So I'm going to start out and ask you to introduce yourself, Dawn and James, and how you got to the role you have now with MetroCast as hosts.
Wonderful. Well, I'm Dawn Campbell, and as you said, host of MetroCast Channel 10, host of Be Your Best on MetroCast Channel 10, excuse me. I started here about a year and a half ago as a host, and prior to that, I was part of Elisa Casas's, I guess she had her own show here, and it was Gab with Elisa, and she requested my presence as her guest several times on her show. And then as time went on, there was the need for, hey, we'd like to kind of turn this into something more. And the image and fashion information that I was giving at that time, I guess, was getting some great feedback. So we sort of put our heads together a little bit and turned it not just into a show about image and fashion, but more along the lines of a show to help sort of educate the public on various, health, nutrition, wellness, and just, again, be your best. Everything to help you be your best. Yeah.
James?
I was walking by and they needed to use the bathroom, so I came in, and the next thing you know, they spray painted the wall, and I was interviewing Sam Grow. I don't know how the whole thing happened. All right, you want the serious answer? Okay, you said be myself. Okay. Well, I suppose Leanne and Elisa realized that there is so much talent in the entertainment scene in Southern Maryland, and there was really nobody showcasing what Southern Maryland had to offer in the way of the performing arts. I suppose they knew me from my work on stage at the Three Notch Theater or being a radio DJ, and they asked me if I would host a show that would spotlight the entertainment scene. And we certainly have no shortage of guests, because between stage at the various local theaters and local musicians, there's so much talent to showcase.
And you've done how many episodes?
Currently 102.
102
I'm very,
episodes.
very proud of that.
Amazing.
That I haven't been fired yet. I mean...
And he counts his episodes. I don't count my episodes. Maybe I need to start.
Nor do I.
It's an OCD thing.
I can't remember how many episodes, but it does give you some bearing of how much we've touched around the community. I mean, if you think about the shows that we do, you're in the performing arts, fashion and related, and I'm, academic, community kinds of things, and we overlap. I mean, there's guests that we have, not necessarily going to be on your show or your show, but, the beauty of this community is it's not 6 degrees of freedom, or degrees of separation, it's 1 degree of separation.
It really is.
Our guests know somebody else that's been on your show or your show. So let's talk about Be Your Best and what it's about, what you hope to accomplish, and going forward, what do you expect?
I think my biggest love of life is just the very different things that kind of make us who we are. So Be Your Best was really sort of a way to bring together the whole person, not just from a fashion or an image standpoint.
External.
Right, well, external. And then, it kind of goes into the internal where we've had, or I've had guests that speak about medical issues, health and wellness, nutrition. I recently had a guest who taught us how to plant a garden, a box garden, something very simple so that we can grow our own vegetables and be more healthy. So really, I think my goal for this show is to help people to maybe learn some new things that they have never done before, or to maybe give them a point of reference to start so they can maybe touch on a little bit more if they see something that they're interested in. Maybe there's a workout video that will maybe make somebody want to go out and do that some more or something. So.
And James, what is your overall aim for the Buzz?
Bob, it's funny, when I first came to Southern Maryland 7 years ago, people said, there's nothing to do here. And, I started exploring and found out how many bands there are and how many different local theaters are. There is, as I like to say on my show, there's more stuff to do every weekend than you have time to do.
Right.
So performers here work so hard. People in community theater who are not paid but put in hundreds and hundreds of hours in performances and rehearsals, bands who make maybe very, very little bit of money. All these people need support of the people who come out and come to see them and spend a little bit of money on food or whatever if it happens to be at a local venue, or come into a theater. Most people are doing it for the love of performing. But without the audiences, there's no reason to do it. So,
you help spread that message.
Well, I want people to know that there's a variety of things to do. You don't have to sit every night in front of the TV. You can see real live people entertaining you that are doing it for the love of entertaining.
Right. I guess I have to ask this question that I didn't tell you in advance.
Here we go.
Think of what's one thing on your shows, respectively, that really surprised you. You know, a particular guest, you don't have to name them, but what episode that comes to mind that says, you know, that really came across, or I remember that, or that was a real snafu or something, but what would that be?
I did a show one time with a young lady who I actually knew from the time she was very young. And she, over the course of many years, lost a tremendous amount of weight. And I had a really hard time getting through that show without tearing up. Because I'd watched her go. Yes, I'd watched her go from that. I watched the struggle, and I watched her fight back from that and become this whole person. And she now educates others on how to do this. But just watching the growth of this person from the time she was a child to adulthood, going through that struggle, it gave me faith in people, in humanity, in the fact that you can really do whatever it is you set your mind to. And it really made me look at myself a little differently, and made me kind of step back and say, you can do these things, things that I want to get done. So it was kind of a life changer for me.
I'll tell you, I'm a teacher by trade, and what I've learned in my 25 years of teaching is, yes, students learn from the teacher, but the teacher learns so much more from students because there's just more of them. And, you know, learning goes both ways. So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And James, what's an episode that you remember or don't want to remember?
Really, like the time I tripped over the cable behind the chairs, I like to forget that. You know, Bob, actually, I want to say I've had the Sam Grow Band on several times. And the thing that stands out most in my mind is that they're getting really famous and really popular, and they're opening for major acts now. Rascal Flatts, they're touring the country.
They're on the West Coast now, or they're heading that
I believe
way.
so, yeah. But no matter how busy they are, they always take the time to come back and be on the buzz. Not for the sake of being on the buzz, but every time they are here, what they do is they thank sincerely the people in St. Mary's County, Southern Maryland in general, for coming out and spending what they say their hard-earned money to see them play. It's their appreciation and their love for what they do and what they give back to the community that stands out so much in my mind.
Wow, good examples. Let's wrap with this idea of Team MetroCast Channel 10. So, any thoughts about what that can be from your show? The audience now has a better sense of who you are, where you came from, what your aims are. You said one of your guests went on to do things as a teacher, as a mentor, as a facilitator. So, any thoughts about how we could leverage this small group of hosts that speak to the community about topics of relevance?
I think, right off the top of my head, just what you said about it's sort of 1 degree of separation in St. Mary's County, and being able to sort of touch with each other and say, hey, who do you know that does this? Or who do you know that, or I need some information on that. And the fact that we have that network, and we have a great production staff here who also work with us and help us to connect, I think it's a great opportunity to really get out and be able to touch all facets and all areas of life, just because we have strengths. All various strengths together.
Oh, and never underestimate the power of Channel 10. Everywhere I go, like, I watch Be Your Best, I watch the Pulse, I watch the Buzz. It's incredible how many people are watching it and recognizing us. And
yeah, I think as I feel like we've done our job if we've taught someone something, if we've educated them, if we told them what's going on this weekend, if we've given them something to do, if we've talked to them about the community. I think we've done our job, and we are continuing to do our job, and hopefully keep everyone happy with what we do and what we can offer.
Last word?
Yeah, I want to have your band, Geezer, on the bus.
All right.
So, we'd
Yeah.
turn the
We will do
tables
that.
on you a little bit.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yes, and I'm hoping that you'll join me on my show.
Okay.
So we can do the same thing and chat a little bit with
Absolutely.
you. Turn
Well-
the tables a little bit.
All right, so Dawn Campbell, James LaFleur, thank you very much, and thank
Thank you.
you for joining The Pulse. Dr. Bob Schaller, your host, and thank you for watching MetroCast Channel 10.